This was the first time we investigated how dog brains process speech. What we learned is that dogs and humans have very similar brain mechanisms for processing word meaning and intonation.
And what exactly did you do to establish this?
We trained 13 dogs to lie completely motionless in an fMRI scanner, in a brain scanner. We measured their brain activity as they listened to their trainer's speech. We showed them praise words in praising intonation like super, and we also showed praise words in neutral intonation like super. So some of these words were meaningful to dogs, praise words. Some of them were meaningless to them, like these conjunction words, which they also hear very often, but they don't mean anything to them.
What language were you using? Was it Hungarian?
Yeah, it was Hungarian. Yeah, so these dogs live in Hungarian families, and we selected those praise words which are typically used by all dog owners participating in the study. So these dogs were very familiar with the words. So we said something like, ügyes vagy, okos, jól van. This is something like, well done, good boy, clever. And this is what they heard for praise words in praising intonation. But we also showed praise words in neutral intonation and neutral words in praising intonation.
How on earth did you get them to lie still in a brain scanning machine?
We train dogs to understand that what we want from them is something very simple. We just want them to lie completely motionless, and this is the important and difficult aspect for them, to understand that, okay, motionless means really motionless. If they move more than 3 millimeters in any directions, we just have to throw away all the data. And dogs really would like to be nice with us, so that's not the issue. They want to please their owner, their trainer. They just have to take the time to understand what we really want. It's also very nice to see that these dogs take part in our experiments. We see them as happy volunteers, actually.
And wagging their tails, are they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And when they don't feel like continue participating, they just quit. But what we found was very exciting. Praise words and for dogs meaningless words are represented in a different way in the dog brain. So for praise words, we found a left hemisphere dominance, but there was no such difference between hemispheres for the meaningless words.
Do you think they're understanding the actual meaning of the words or just the general impression that the owner is giving?
It's very difficult to know what a dog is really thinking of, but I think here we can talk about understanding in the true sense of the word for the specific case of praise. So both word meaning and intonation has to fit for a praise to be rewarding for the dog brain. This means that when dogs hear us speaking, their brain does something very similar with the speech signal than what human brains would do. They feel rewarded if the two types of information which is involved in the speech signal match.
And just to be clear, these were different breeds that you tested and you got similar results, did you?
Yeah, exactly. We used 4 breeds, different ages, and in total 13 dogs.
You talked about the training. I wonder what the implications of what you have found are for training dogs, for example.
I think our results support those feelings that food reward is not the only way to go. You can just use some nice words. Social reinforcement can very well work. But funnily and excitingly, it seems that it's not only how you say it, it's also what you say to your dog that counts.